What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high because I had to buy something, feel something, and today we're back at it for another review. For today's review, we are looking at the third installment of the 1000 Toys Noble Team line, and actually that means we're halfway there because there are 6 members in Noble Team, and for today we are taking a look at June. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of my more anticipated figures from this line. Don't get me wrong, I love all of the members of Noble Team, but I love June's design, and I really love the sniper rifle in Halo. And just a heads up, this is the exclusive edition of the June. I have gotten all the exclusive editions that have came out and are going to be coming out, so with that said, pray for my wallet because these aren't cheap figures. So if you do at any point during or after the video realize you do want to kill your wallet and pick up one of these figures for yourself, there are multiple options online, starting off with the 1000 Toys website, going for $200. I don't think June is in stock on the 1000 Toys website. Usually when they go on the 1000 Toys website. But then we have Sideshow collectibles for also $200, and then Entertainment Earth for $204.99. The same price going on the Big Bad Toy Store, and then for surprisingly $180 on Amazon. Be careful with that link. I don't know if that is the exclusive edition. It does say exclusive in the title, but if you are gonna purchase it off of the Amazon link and it turns out it's the not exclusive edition, please let me know. I'll correct the link and all that jazz. But yeah, there's all your options, links in the description of the video, obviously, if you do want to pick up this figure for yourself. But with all that said, I think it's time to open up this bad boy. And starting off with the packaging, here we have the 1000 Toys packaging that we've seen with all the Noble Team members, and we have the exclusive edition sticker on the front to let us know that we're special, and you know, that's really cool. And then on the side we just have the Halo Reach logo. The back we have a bunch of gibberish regarding the 1000 Toys and the figure and all that stuff. And then on the other side we just have the Halo Reach logo yet again. Not the most interesting packaging, but you know, this is the packaging that the figure comes in, so I have to cover it. And with the box open, it looks like everything that is included is present, so that's good to see. And obviously we have the instruction manual that's included with every member of Noble Team, and it just goes over basically the features and accessories included with June. And if you have one figure from the Noble Team line, you've pretty much know how to work them all. The engineering for all of them is pretty much the same. Obviously the designs of each Noble Team member is unique to themselves, and that does affect some of the features and accessories with each figure. And obviously we'll go over June's today, and then on the back goes over everything that is included with this figure, which we do have. So with all that said, let's open up this figure. And as expected, right out of the box, June just looks amazing. Just like with Noble 6 and Carter, 1000 Toys was able to get down as many details as possible for both sculpting and the paint work. And starting with the sculpt work and the basics such as the line work, layering, and paneling of June's armor and undersuit look great. 1000 Toys obviously knows what they're doing when it comes to the default appearance of Halo Reach's Mjolnir armor. And then obviously there's the details and parts of June's armor that are unique to his design, and I feel like 1000 Toys handle them with so much care and attention to detail. Some examples that come to mind are the cameras and lights on June's helmet, his ghillie hood, the bullets on his left shoulder, the GPS pad on his arm, which they actually did paint the screen of, which is weird because when we look at Carter's figure, they didn't paint the screen of his tactical pad. And then the pouches on his back and thigh as well. And as for the paintwork on June, just like with previous releases, he has that clean look as if he just put his armor through the wash. But like with Carter, there is some fading and wear on his paint job, specifically on his shoulders and on his right leg. But there are some other details on June that I did not expect to see painted on this figure, such as the UNSC print on his back pouch and on his knees, and then the warning signs on his thigh and calves. And if there's one thing that I really do like about the paintwork on this figure, that is the color variation in June's ghillie. Rather than just making it an offset shade of green that just contrasts with June's armor, 1000 Toys really went in and gave it the color variation that it deserves to give it that camo look that it does have in game. And overall, I'm very happy with 1000 Toys execution of June. The sculpting is great, the paintwork is great. I couldn't ask for a better looking June figure. And then getting into articulation, starting off with the head area, we can rotate the head 360 degrees. And then we can have June look up and down with some decent range. And the same could be said about the range when we sway June's head side to side. And all that range and articulation in June's head allows us to get a nice spherical range of motion. But just like with the head, the neck can also sway back and forth and side to side as well, which taking those two ranges of motion, and we can also move the neck in a spherical range of motion. And then moving over to the arm, we can rotate the arm 360 degrees up and over. And then we can bring the arm up and down a decent amount as well. And if we flip the arm 180 degrees, there isn't as much range, but there is still some. And then of course there's this joint here to help bring out the arm or pull the arm back even more, which is nice to see. Then we can rotate the elbow 360 degrees, and then we can get a really good elbow bend out of this figure, surpassing the 90-degree mark, which I really like to see in my figures. And then of course we can rotate the hand 360 degrees and bend the wrist however we please. When it comes to the torso, we can't rotate it 360 degrees, but we can still get some decent range when pivoting the torso. And then we can sway his torso back and forth a decent amount, and I really like that Thousand Toys made it so the pouch does not get in the way of the torso's articulation. And then we can also get some pretty decent range when we sway his torso side to side. And when we take all of that range and articulation, we can move the torso in a spherical range of motion. And in the waist area, this armor can be adjusted so it doesn't get in the way of the legs or the torso, which is really nice to see. And then taking it to the legs, we can rotate the legs 360 degrees. And when it comes to the splittage, we get tons of range to allow for June to be positioned and balanced in a variety of ways. And then we can pivot the torso here a decent amount to allow for furthering positioning and balancing of June. And then when it comes to the knee bend, like always, it's amazing. Really happy with the range that we are given here. And then when it comes to the boot, we can rotate it 360 degrees and bend the ankle however we please. We can also move the toe of June's boot and the armor over it to allow for further balancing of June, which is really nice. And starting off, features and accessories with the swappable hands included. Starting off, we have the closed fists, and then we have energy sword hands, 2 trigger finger hands, 2 open / holding hands, and then we have 2 open palm expressive hands. Some people call them tactical hands, but I just call them open palm. And before we get into the weapons included, no, the knife is not a weapon. It is a decoration, just like it was with Carter. And getting into our first weapon, and that is unsurprisingly the sniper rifle. And I have to say, Thousand Toys did an amazing job when it came to handling this rifle. It is jam-packed with so much detail, from the screws, dials, and wiring on the scope to the texture on the handguard, shroud, and grip, the layering and line work in the ejection port. And they even went as far as modeling the safety, which is really nice to see. The point is, Thousand Toys nailed it when it comes to the sculpting as far as this accessory. As for paintwork, I think the sniper rifle is about 95% perfect. If I could change one thing about the paintwork, it would be the barrel and the bipod. Could be a tad bit darker, but otherwise the rest of this rifle just looks amazing. And for any of those wondering, no, you can't move the bipod around. It is stuck in place, which for me personally, I'm perfectly fine with. And just like with every weapon we've gotten so far, there is a peg on the side of the rifle. Now, due to June's ghillie and straps for the pack on his back, you cannot put the sniper rifle on June's back. You can't put any weapons on June's back. If you wanted to put the sniper rifle on Noble 6 or Carter's back, you can do so, just not with June. So it's kind of ironic you can't mount the sniper rifle on the team sniper's back. So moving over to the exclusive edition weapon, and we have the Magnum, and I guess this makes the most sense since there is this photo of June with a Magnum on his thigh. But if my memory serves me right, I don't think he's ever used a Magnum in game. Originally, my dumbass thought because June is a sniper, they would have given him like the needle rifle or the beam rifle, but he doesn't use those in the game either. And I just assumed before all figures were announced, every figure would get a weapon appropriate to their character. But honestly, besides the Magnum, 2 other weapons that would make the most sense to give June is the assault rifle or the DMR, since we do see him use them in game. But Noble 6 and Cat are already getting an assault rifle, and Carter has the DMR, so I think it'd be a little boring to see these weapons again. But what ifs and speculating aside, I do think the Magnum is solid for the most part. 1000 Toys was sure to sculpt as many details as possible as usual. Things that stood out to me were the texture on the grip, the safety, the ejection port, the laser sight, and a variety of screws and other buttons that can be found on the Magnum. As for the paintwork, it's alright. The Halo Reach Magnum is made up with a variety of grays, and we don't really get to see that with this Magnum. They used one shade of gray for the upper half, and then the lower half is just all black. You can argue that the textured grip is black, but even then that doesn't make up the majority of the lower half of the Magnum, so the reason why 1000 Toys did it is beyond me, and I kind of wish we had a more accurate looking Magnum, but at the end of the day, sculpt wise, it looks like a Magnum. It's Magnum shaped. It's just the paint job that isn't 100% accurate, and I mean, I guess it doesn't ruin the accessory, it's just kind of distracting, at least for my Halo autistic ass. And how 1000 Toys went about mounting the Magnums on the sides, since there aren't pegs on them, was pretty neat. Obviously, you have to take off the plates on the thigh armor like we've seen with Noble 6 and Carter, and this pouch actually comes off as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you wanted the Magnum on this side, you could do that. So you take these tiny little clips, and obviously you put the peg in the peg hole, and once they're in, they're nice and snug. It doesn't feel like they're gonna, you know, fall out or anything. They will stay there, and you obviously pop the Magnum in, and that Magnum stays in. It's nice and sturdy, doesn't feel like it's coming off, doesn't feel too loose. If anything, it's really tight, which, you know, is kind of a pain in the ass at times, but again, I rather have it be nice and secure than really loose and, you know, able to lose very easily. And I actually really like this method. I don't think I've seen a Halo figure do this before. If I'm wrong, you're more than welcome to correct me in the comment section. But I really like how they went about this. It looks very nice and clean. It keeps everything nice and secure. And, you know, it's probably, in my opinion, one of the better ways to go about mounting sidearms on the legs of our Spartans. Here we are at the turntable segment of the video. This is pretty much where I go over what I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, and weaknesses. Just give my general thoughts and opinions on the figure at hand, and I like to start off with the negative first, just to get the sour stuff out of the way, because I don't like dwelling on the negative any longer than I already have to. And fortunately, there isn't that much to talk about in the terms of negative about this figure, and starting off with probably the biggest one and the one that people care about the most, and that is the fact that June can't mount any weapons on his back. Now, I did say earlier in the video that this doesn't really bother me because I will be displaying June with the sniper rifle in his hands, but just because it isn't an issue for me doesn't mean it's not an issue for others. There are probably people out there who, you know, enjoy doing toyography or, you know, changing how their figures are displayed on their shelves from time to time and don't always want the sniper rifle in June's hand, and this definitely does get in the way of that if they did want to mount the sniper rifle on his back or just any other weapons on his back. And the second thing that comes to mind is the appearance of the Magnum. Now, I'm probably overhyping how much I dislike this. I know it's not the end of the world. The sculpt work is great. It looks like a Halo Reach Magnum. It smells like a Halo Reach Magnum. It's probably a Halo Reach Magnum, but no, it's just my, you know, my fucking Halo hyperfixation just can't unsee how inaccurate this paint job is, and I have to talk about it. Again, it might not be an issue for the majority of people who buy this figure, but for me, I see it, I notice it, and it is what it is. And one thing that I forgot to mention is the knife. I really wish 1000 Toys put in the effort to make the knives an actual accessory, since we pay so much. It, you know, I feel like just kind of contributes to the value. It's just something that I would greatly appreciate, and I think a lot of other people would as well. I mean, for fuck's sake, Jazzwares does it. Jazzwares makes the knife an accessory, so it's weird to say that Jazzwares does something better than 1000 Toys. So just come on, 1000 Toys, please let us play with the knives. And then getting into the positives, which there is a lot of, like the appearance of the figure. This figure looks amazing. They did so much when it came to the sculpt work on his armor, getting down every little detail. The paint work on June is great. I have no issues whatsoever with the figure's visual presentation. As far as articulation goes, I love how this figure feels. Nothing is too loose, nothing is too tight. It's exactly what I expect from 1000 Toys. As for the accessories, when it comes to the visuals of the sniper rifle, I know that I said the bipod and the barrel could be a tad bit darker, but after that I think the rest of the rifle, paint job wise and the entire sculpt work, is phenomenal. The Magnum, I love its sculpt work. The paint work, obviously I have my own opinions on, but sculpt wise it looks great. I love how they handled the engineering for mounting the Magnums on the thigh of June, and obviously this translates to the other figures as well. So if you wanted to put a Magnum on Carter, Noble 6, or anyone else that eventually comes out, you can do so. I just really like that. And just, yeah, overall this is a solid figure. You really get what you pay for. It is an expensive figure, and I can understand why it does turn some people away, but the figure looks great, feels great, and the accessories overall are really good, despite my opinion on the Magnum. So yeah, overall very happy with how this figure came out. And I think that's everything I have to say for this video. Sorry that it took as long as it did to come out. A lot is happening with my life right now, and I will continue to work on YouTube. The grind will never stop. I will always be on that grind set. But with that said, if you did enjoy today's video, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. Don't worry about commenting. I get it. It's a lot of effort to move those fingers, but if you do want to bounce off anything I did say throughout the video, you are more than welcome to, and I will most likely reply to your comments because I obviously like talking about this stuff. And don't worry about the bell. We both know that shit is broken. And if you want to see more content like this, there's plenty of it on the channel. I do plan on reviewing all of the 1000 Toys Noble Team members. So I already have Carter and Noble 6 out, and eventually the other 3 figures will be coming. And I also do other Halo stuff as well, but if you also like Star Wars, Alien, Predator, Alien versus Predator, or Warhammer, I do cover that stuff as well, so go check it out. And with all that said, please have a wonderful day and stay hydrated. It's important.